The Raider way, or the Raider tenets of commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
To the back, and it's caught! There for the touchdown! Zach Wilson throws in traffic. It's picked off by Robert Spillane. Spillane taking off. He's down. He's in a little bit of trouble, but Adams gets him out of it. He got free in the secondary to the 23-yard. Devontae Adams, he's got it! Touchdown Raiders! Oh, a dice roll in Vegas for 6. The Raiders at the 40-yard line, and O'Connell wants to take a deep shot. And he's got Trey Tucker out there. Tucker diving, and he makes the catch inside the 10.
As a young guy, I had a dream that someday I would build the finest organization in professional sports.
You know, that's where we really should move. That would stick it to him.
Big birthday in Vegas this year. Love Vegas.
The man who became defined by 3 words was ready to make history on that day.
Just win, baby.
Breaking news, the Raiders have a new general manager coming.
The Las Vegas Raiders are hiring John Spytek as their new general manager. Breaking news into First Take, Adam Schefter tweeted moments ago, Pete Carroll and the Raiders now have reached an agreement on a 3-year deal.
Pete Carroll's the coach to go build up the Raiders. This is a great...
With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State.
I've got that lightning inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh, just you watch. I'm stepping into fate. There is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made. I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
Salute Raider Nation. Appreciate you all showing up here tonight, man. Really do appreciate it. Salute to the chat. Salute to the mods in the chat. Salute to everybody here on the panel and the other people that'll be coming here in a little bit. Really do appreciate all you guys here tonight. We have Harvey, Christian, and Rudy, and we'll be talking a lot about Raiders, obviously, tonight. So got a bunch of topics, a bunch of conversation, obviously, that'll twine all into itself as we go. So if you guys want to give a shout out, feel free to give a shout out, man.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there? It's the #1 Raider Stunner. What? Thanks for tuning in. Raiders for life.
Shout out, everyone. I'm sure some people already seen my avatar. The Aztec skeleton looks pretty crazy. It kind of is Raider related. Looks pretty sick. I thought of a new change to it.
Heck yeah.
What's up, nation?
Hell yeah. So basically, we're going to start off a conversation here tonight about Aidan versus Geno. It's a lot of things to talk about going forward, from camp to OTAs to training camp to preseason and starting. For people to sit and say, like, they're just in practice right now, it doesn't matter type shit, I think that's the dumbest thing anybody can say. Veteran quarterbacks, or any quarterback or any players or anything, should be playing at their best football without pads, because they don't have anything that's restricting them. So when you come into OTAs and you don't have pressures, you don't have sacks, you're basically given wherever you want to go with the ball. You just got to get it there and not get it picked off or throw it into traffic or coverage or things of these factors. Now, there's obviously been multiple reports already that Geno came out on the first day of OTAs. He threw 3 interceptions. Jeremy Chin, a few other people picked him off. They said that his arm wasn't there like it's been in the past. It being in the pocket, the mobility factor wasn't really all together at the beginning. I get it that people see these highlight videos on Raiders page and stuff of Geno throwing out the ball to a player, but you have to also remember, highlights are scripted plays where they take the best plays out throughout the day or the last few days, and then that's how they twine it. They're not showing every single play, every single pass. That's why the videos are clipped, just so people understand. At the end of the day, I've said this for a long time about Aidan. Aidan has played pretty decent through multiple different schemes. He's been a pretty good quarterback. He's had zero consistency. I've said that he had his best ball under Bo Hardigree, which was trash-ass OC coach to begin with. The thing about him is he got a guy like Chip Kelly here now that's going to have receivers, and probably the best team Aidan's had, period, since he's been on this team by a mile. And he already has the familiarity. He already has these things. And I know people will say, well, we paid him $40 million. Why would we do that if he wasn't going to be the starter? Listen, everybody said that about Jimmy, and they said that about Gardner Minshew. They used the same fucking philosophy, and look where it got us, man. It got us fucking 4-13. Our team, you don't look at NFLs like that, okay? What you look at it is you say, one, we made a trade and went and got Geno, and it was nothing. You paid him $40 million. Who gives a shit? That's what you're going to pay an average quarterback anymore anyways, because the cap went up on quarterbacks. A good quarterback making $60 million, So at the end of the day, $40 million isn't nothing to sit on the bench and then have an out in your contract the following year and a zero out in the next year. If Geno is to come in here and push his play and earn the position, then great. That's what football is all about, earning your spot. For people to sit and say, well, he hasn't been in the system, he hasn't played with the receivers, this, that, and the other excuse. Well, guess what? Aidan hasn't played in this system either, and he's already out here having better footballs thrown and better deals. I said this last year about Aidan against Gardner, where people were saying, well, there isn't reports of it because they fucking lied, dude. Like, these people straight up fucking – when you put out certain narratives, you're thriving for your organization, your team, your players, everybody to groove to this one player. But Pete's made it very clear, especially when he came in right when he got the job, is he said there'll be competition. The best person will win, regardless of who it is. There was Matt Flynn over there with the Seahawks when they drafted Russell Wilson in the second or third round. I think it was third round. And guess what? Russell Wilson went on and fucking won a Super Bowl. I don't think that it's so much scripted on like, just because you have this guy, that's who it's going to be. I highly doubt it, man. I think they're going to go with whoever plays the best. Even if Cam fucking Miller pops up and shows that he can outplay all these motherfuckers in the system, scrambling, throwing, then he's going to get the job. But from the reports that I've heard is Cam is doing really good, and so is Williams is doing pretty good because they thrive in this type of system. I've heard Geno's done good, but I've heard Aidan's done really good. I've heard that Aidan has taken his game from last year's level to a whole different level, and he's got finally a good quarterback or a good OC that can get him the ball to some receivers out there. So, and then you're sitting there talking about the type of player Aidan is. He got a 6'5" dude sitting out there on the line now, going out there and just dirting people. So, long story short, I'm not here to sit and say like Aidan's going to take his job at this moment. I know 100% fact that it is Geno's job, and it's Geno's job to lose. What I would say is don't be sleeping on Aidan, dude, because Aidan, from what I've heard, showed up to this camp and he's on fire, dude. Like I've heard nothing but good things on Aidan. I've heard nothing about how this kid is just connecting with players, connecting with different plays, reading the defense way faster, being able to audible plays out on the line. They said that last year's Aidan and this year's Aidan isn't even close. So I'm hoping that what I've been told is true. I hope that if he does come out here, he earns that job outright, because then there's not going to be any fucking talking about, Geno this, Geno that. I've said it. When Geno was with the Seahawks, he played really good in the very first year of his, 19 fucking year career, not doing jack shit I think it's like 12 or 13, however long Derek was here. Derek's been here in 14. He was here in 13. So he's been here 1 year longer, and he just is dog. But at the end of the day, if Geno earns it or Aidan, I would prefer Aidan, just because I've said it. He's got a pure arm. He's a pure passer. I mean, he's a great quarterback, man. But Geno, I've said, you can't sit here. What? No, I will. Okay, I will in a minute. I will in 1 minute. Be quiet. Get out of here. And God, I fucking hate when they do that shit. Long story short, I was gonna say Geno. When he first came with the Seahawks, dude, he had a 32-10 touchdown to interception ratio, 4,000 yards. But listen, I've said this about Derek Carr. Derek Carr get 4,000 yards all fucking day long in this division, and still don't make the fucking playoffs, dude. It's a lot about the defense and so on. But what I'm saying about Geno is Geno has not put up any better numbers than Derek Carr has put up in this organization, not even close. And at the end of the day, if we get the 32-10 Geno, then I would say, hey, we're going to probably have a good year. But if we get last year's Geno, where it was 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, guess what? You have Gardner Minshew all over again and Jimmy G. Like, that's not what you're bringing the guy here to do, is play that type of football. That's all I'm saying is for me, I'm hoping that Aidan can contest him to push him and maybe make it, a great competition. But I've said it. If we're rolling with any quarterback in here, I still prefer Aidan O'Connell over Geno, in my personal opinion. But outside of that, you guys can speak on it. But I just want to bring up that so far in the camps, Aidan is looking better than Geno. And from what I've heard, it's not even close. So we'll have to see over the time. We're just here with no pads, no nothing, but he has familiarity with almost the whole fucking team. So I would imagine that he's looking better than him to begin with. But if you guys want to speak on it, speak on it.
I agree with every word you said, Dustin. To me, I told you this. I told Rudy this, that Ball Bull, aka AP, should have he should have let Aidan O'Connell, Aidan O'Connell start last season when he was here. But he lied to the public. He lied to the public and let Gardner Booger, moron Minshew eat I mean, excuse me. What he did, I'm sorry. He let Gardner Boogie, you moron, Minshew the second start. He lied to Raider Nation, told the press that he was going with the youth and that thing, Gardner Boogie, you moron, Minshew starting over Aidan O'Connor. I'm like, what is he doing? But, like you said, Aidan O'Connor Ben should have started. Now they got Geno Smith. To me, Aidan O'Connor should start. As long as he keep wrecking the OTAs, keep turning up, he gonna get the starting position, man.
I've said I think this is his best OC by a mile. It's not even close when it comes to this OC. And I've said when people say about mobility inside the system, this and that, Aidan can run, dude. Look at his Purdue tape. He's most definitely broke yards for first downs and take off. Is he a scrambling quarterback? No way, no how. But if Aidan can show the accuracy and show the gameplay, what's to say, like when Tom Brady was with the Patriots, mobility doesn't matter to that extent if you're fucking throwing your receivers open all the time and fucking running the ball and all those things. Like, I get how people look at certain things about the mobility of a quarterback, but again, there hasn't been very many in this era either that were mobile that won Super Bowls to begin with. It's usually a quarterback that's completing passes to their players is where it's at. But Christian, you can go.
I don't think Geno Smith has a whole lot left personally.
Say it.
I think he's washed up.
Say it.
Well, like you just said, his legs are about gone. I like to see what we have in Aidan O'Connell or Cam Miller if Miller lights the world on fire.
Yeah, his legs is gone. You call that spaghetti leg.
Lieutenant Dan, I got no legs.
Yeah, man. Like, that fool was right, man. I mean, like, he really don't have that it factor like he had when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, man. Really don't.
I've never been high on Geno Smith either. Going back to the Jets days, what did he do in New York? Nothing.
Exactly.
Well, any quarterback that goes to New York doesn't do anything anyway.
True.
But I think Geno Smith, he's systematic, just like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's better than Garbage Minshew, but he's not a franchise quarterback. He's a journeyman quarterback. So depends how he plays. Maybe he will play okay, but okay is not good enough to beat Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert. You have to be a guy that's going to be able to take it to the next level. Yeah, and the running game.
What's up?
Dude, I didn't see it in the bottom. You guys should have said you were down there. I couldn't see it on the bottom of the screen.
Oh, good, bro.
All good, man. All good.
I was just saying that, I had some technical issues with my new laptop. I had to reconnect everything to StreamYard. It was annoying as fuck. And then God decided to take a massive leap right at the wrong moment. I had to move shit off the back table.
No, I'm not talking about Aidan or Rudy. Are you still going talking about him?
Yeah. I would say right now though it's a little too soon. I need to see more when I see the preseason or even everything. I think that'll determine a little bit more. With Aidan will try to take the job away like Derek Carr did to Matt Schaub, who took his older brother David Carr's job. Derek Carr was about revenge, and he got his revenge. Now, Aidan just wasn't set for failure or success last year. He didn't have the opportunity like you were saying earlier, and it would be fair to do this with Aidan. But right now, this is Pete Carroll's team now, and Pete Carroll's going to run it his system. He wants familiarity. That doesn't mean that Geno Smith is safe, because Geno Smith is not safe. If he doesn't play up to par, he's going to get replaced by Aidan O'Connell. It's just like that.
Yeah, let's not forget the offense is ran by Chip Kelly. It ain't gonna be Pete Carroll. It's Chip Kelly's offense.
Well, not just offense, but and Pete Carroll's going to go by Chip Kelly's offense.
Yeah, he'll be more mainly on defense with Patrick Graham. That's what he'll be doing.
I'm not a big Chip Kelly fan at all.
Yeah.
You say you're not a big Chip Kelly fan.
No.
Adam, you can
Honestly,
go. You can go.
Honestly, I just want to see how both quarterbacks play in the system because first and foremost, I think Chip Kelly's offense has potential, but can it be consistent with whoever's under center? You feel me?
Yeah.
And look. Obviously, yeah, he won a natty with the Buckeyes, but that's college. College defenses are a lot different than NFL.
That's a new word. I never heard that before. Natty.
I mean, Chip's been in the NFL with the Niners and the Eagles.
I know.
And he's had the top offense, run game, passing game, almost every single year he was in there outside of 1 year, I think. He's always the top 5, top 6 run and pass game. So he can play it here. I've said if people paid attention to his first stint here, he was a hurry up offense where he was always in the hurry up, and that caught up with him big time here. But when he went to Ohio, he learned to play the pass game, a pass game offense where he can move around the ball, slows people down, get them back into a huddle, be able to call a play, have check downs at the line. He changed his whole entire game in Ohio. So him coming back here to the NFL, I think he's more than ready. I mean, by a mile, he's geared and ready to go. And if you look at it, you look at what he's already doing with Dante Thornton and so on, what he's doing with Metlow. I mean, he's already having great connections here with players. Jack Beck. I mean, I think Chip's offense is going to probably be one of the best things on this team, and it won't even be close.
Right,
but Ozzy, you can go, keep going.
Yeah, I was just going to add that with what you were saying about Chip, and if I'm not mistaken, he started to utilize 2 tight end sets more too, which is perfect for us with Bowers and Mayer being in there. I mean,
the 12 personnel will help out with the blocking on the run game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd love to see situations where you put Bowers at receiver like Gruden did with fucking Darren Waller. You put Bowers out at receiver, then you put Mayer in at tight end. Like, I want to see those kind of packages too, because then you can put fucking Thornton on the other side of Bowers as the other receiver. I mean, that's going to be fucking deadly as fuck. And then you got fucking Ashton coming out of the backfield and shit. Like, that's going to be practically unstoppable. I mean, who's going to cover all that shit? I mean, you go five wide. You go 5 wide or something. I'm putting Bowers out there at 5 wide and fucking Jacoby and fucking Thornton and fucking Tucker and fucking Beck all at the same time. Like, come on,
Good luck.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You're not going to have 5 DBs that can match up on those 5 dudes. It's not going to be possible.
The other part about that, there ain't no corner that's physical enough to go with Bowers.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
That is a true fact.
The thing is, they're not going to be able to double team him now, because I mean, if you double team Bowers a lot, like they did with Darren Waller when Gruden was head coach, we didn't have guys like fucking Beck and fucking Thornton at that time. Like we kind of did, because we kind of had Hunter Renfrow as kind of like Beck in a way. I think Beck's going to be better. And then it wasn't until 2020 when we got Ruggs, when we had a Thornton type dude, but we got that dude right now with Thornton and Tucker. So we got 2 of them.
Right.
I'd say Thornton's closer to Ruggs in the sense that Thornton's got a better leap and stuff, and he's 6 foot, over 6 foot and stuff. But
6'5",
you can't stop. Like if those guys take off, like if Beck and Thornton take off, other team defenses are screwed. They're gonna.
I'm gonna say, Liz, don't sleep on Zachary Franklin, the undrafted wide receiver from Illinois. I've seen him up and close the last couple of years at Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, he definitely could be a guy that could, if we keep like 5 or 6 receivers. But I think we might keep 5 just so we can rotate our receiver anyway. So.
True.
So I want to bring up a deal about Geno real quick, right? Every single coach that's come here in the last few years has brought their fucking guy. Okay, they've all brought him. Every single one of them. I told every one of you this exact same story. I said when they brought motherfucking Jimmy from the Patriots and the Niners, we're the motherfucking Raiders. We're not them. We're not that organization. We don't have fucking defense like that. We don't have a fucking team like theirs. So what did I say was going to happen to Jimmy? He was going to fall flat on his fucking face, and he fucking did. What did I tell you all about fucking Gardner Minshew? Every one of you guys said the same shit that this dude's saying over here about Gardner's his fucking or Gardner was his guy. Gardner's going to come in here. He's going to take us to a playoff. This guy's going to be a fucking winner. Look what he did with the Colts. I said, fuck Shane Steichen.
I ain't never said that.
In the NFL. I told you all. I said to every person out there, big time YouTubers, the fucking that hate on me, dude. So I literally told him, give me the tape. Show me the fucking tape. That's going to show us that Gardner's going to fucking be worth a fuck. And then we can fucking talk. Nobody can produce it. All they can say is he's going to be a better quarterback.
Honestly,
he's going to take us there. What did I tell everybody last year in fucking camp? I said, these guys, these beat writers, Hondo and all these fucking guys are straight lying about the Aidan O'Connell, Gardner Minshew conversation. I told you all. I had motherfuckers there. I have fucking family there. I said it straight up that they're fucking lying about those fucking takes. I've called them out online. I've called them out in their posts, and I fucking was right. They even motherfucking AP said at the end of the year, right before he lost his motherfucking job, that he should have fucking went with Aidan over him because he knew all.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys can believe whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I know my quarterbacks. I know my motherfucking team. And I've said this. Geno can be another fucking Gardner and he can be another fucking Jimmy. There's nothing saying him coming from the fucking Seahawks, which has one of the best fucking defenses in the league, one of the best fucking teams put out there, to come to this motherfucking team and that he's just going to produce. People to sit and say, you're fucking right, Rudy, in the chat about, hey, he fucking Rich Gannon was the last best journeyman. It's facts. Look at every single quarterback that we went through free agency, traded for, brought here. Every one of them fucking sucked. Every last one of them, from Dante Culpepper to Aaron fucking Brooks, fucking
Gary Collins,
all these fucking people.
Dawson Palmer,
good ass fucking Tyrell fucking Pryor. You can just go through all these fucking dudes, right?
And then you can't forget about their bone, Jamarcus Russell.
There was only one fucking quarterback that showed up after Rich Gannon, and his name was Derek fucking Carr, and we drafted that.
Yes.
And ever since that, we have never had another fucking winning quarterback, no matter who the fuck it was that we brought in here. The best luck would say Aidan O'Connell. We've drafted him. He sat 2 years in this motherfucking team. He's played with fucking Bo Hardigree and fucking won, even with the shit ass offensive coordinator. Then you want to judge Aidan on the next fucking year behind Luke Gessie's trash fucking ass. And people want to say, Aidan's trash. Aidan can't. Yeah, you're fucking full of shit. Aidan almost won the Chiefs game off of a fucking bullshit snap that Aidan fucking in their fucking house. Like, to sit and bash on Aidan like he's not a good quarterback is crazy as fuck. The dude has gone into the fucking elite fucking level places, and he's put up great fucking games. He's a 7-1 motherfucking quarterback when he starts, not getting put in to a motherfucking game. He's 7-1 with the 100-yard halfback. Fucking this kid can fucking win. There's no doubt. There's nothing that says in the NFL you have to be a mobile quarterback that runs in the backfield to go win fucking games. You just need a quarterback that knows how to break down fucking coverage, and the second that he knows those players are sucked back too far, he picks up the first down by 5 or 10 yards. He don't need to run 50 or 100. That's what you have a halfback for. That's what you have a wide receiver for, and a fucking tight end. Like, he doesn't need to go do that. He needs to extend fucking plays to go and win fucking games. That's how you do it. Lamar Jackson, dude, he goes out there, has good ass fucking years every year. But guess what? One fact, he goes home every year in the first round of the fucking playoffs. It doesn't matter how fast you can run around in the backfield if you're not completing fucking passes to players, dude. Like, it's just facts. To sit here and say Geno comes here, he's 34 fucking years old, he's slowed down a little bit. And yes, we're only in camp yet, but I'm pretty sure if you're coming from the Seahawks, coming to the Raiders with all this hype coming here, you would have showed the fuck up like Aidan did, dude, in shape, ready to fucking roll. Consistency to say that, hey, he hasn't have a connection with him. Either does Shador, either does Dart, either does Cam, and all those motherfuckers are doing great in camp at this fucking moment. So to imply that a quarterback doesn't, he's a goddamn 14-year veteran. He should be able to connect with goddamn fucking players, you know, like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to say Geno is going to be the guy or he's not going to be the guy. On paper right now, him being here, he's the fucking guy. And Peter can talk him up about being a leader, this, that, the other. Good. Backups are fucking leaders too. Just ask Jameson Winston, dude. Like, it's just fucking what it is. So at the end of the day, if Aidan shows up with the real OC for the first time in his motherfucking career with the fucking players out here on this fucking line with his actual line, and people think he ain't gonna go light up the fucking field, you're crazy as fuck. You crazy as fuck, dude. Like, he's gonna most definitely light up the field. So at the end of the day, I hope the best man wins, but this is what I truly hope. I hope to God that Pete and fucking Spytek ain't so stuck in that they traded for a player just like they've done with Jimmy and Gardner, that we put in as a starter and we stick with that motherfucker. If Aidan is the better man, he better get to fucking start. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's going. I'm saying he should. That's all I would say.
Should have started last season.
Yeah.
Instead, we had Booger Boy.
Yeah, but thanks to Ball Bull, Antonio Pierce off of Mike Tyson punch out, he lied to the nation and went with Aidan. I mean, he went with Jimmy Garoppolo. I didn't like that.
The guy looked like Beetlejuice.
It pissed me off, man. I didn't like that.
And anyone who paid attention could see Gardner was trash. I mean, I brought up the whole Colts versus Texans game and showed him overthrowing tight ends 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he overthrew a pass to Brock Bowers and threw it to PS2, and he ran all the way for the
and then
touchdown.
not just that.
I was about to touch on that game.
Brock Bowers was wide open.
Alec Pierce. He overthrew Alec Pierce on a streak or whatever it was by about 10 yards when he was wide open. And it would have been a running touchdown, and he just overthrew.
Oh, here come another Mike Tyson punch out quarterback, and I definitely didn't like when the Raiders.
Just like Dustin did, I said from the start, it should have been Aidan O'Connell's job.
Look, and I definitely didn't like when the Raiders brought Jimmy Glad, Joe Garoppolo into the Raiders neither.
Well, I was pissed about it too because he's extremely brittle.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing I'll add to that for this year is that, like Dustin's saying, Geno can very much, at 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions last year, Geno can very much be a similar quarterback. Like, that's the thing. We don't know what the hell we're going to get until we watch the preseason and the regular season to see where Geno's at, because he's had 3 good seasons in 11 years. And his best season was in 2022.
Yeah.
And every other season, like, I question his touchdown interception ratio. That's one of the things I kind of look at. I don't give a fuck if you can scramble. What's your touchdown interception ratio? That's important at quarterback because that equals turnovers, and turnovers is what's going to win you or lose your game. So
that's right.
Like, it's like, what version of Geno are we going to get? Are we going to get the 2022 version of Geno, or are we going to get fucking last year's version? Because if we get last year's version, it's not.
We're in deep shit.
Yeah,
we're going to get the New York Jets version of Geno Smith.
Situation.
Oh, we're going to get the New York Jets version of Geno Smith.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of Booger Eater, I still say if he doesn't throw that pick six like a dumbass, we beat Denver in Denver.
Yeah,
that's facts.
We would have went up 17-0.
We should have been 3-3 in the division last year, realistically. And this is something I'm going to keep adding to people because, like, other people that are, like, another channel I follow, they do their own stuff over there. And why I'm taking over on the 6.5. We should be able to win 3 more games just based off of coaching alone. The coaching was that bad last season. We should at least be, like, if someone's betting the over on the 6.5, I'm betting over because we should be able to win 3 more games just by the fact that we had now Pete Carroll over AP, that we now have Chip Kelly over fucking Luke Getz's trash ass. That should win us 3 more games.
The Raiders coaching staff. Look, the Raiders coaching staff was just like one of my favorite songs by Hall & Oates. That coaching staff was out of touch.
Yeah.
Out of touch, out of tune.
Yeah, just the coaching alone should win us 3 more games minimum. So I've got 9-8. 9-8 is where I'm at with this team right now. Until they
I got us at 9-1s too.
I got us at 10. I got us at 10.
10, maybe 10. For us to go to 10, Beck and Dawn need to take off. Like everything needs to go right for us to get to about 10.
I'm calling 89. I'm calling 89, y'all. I'm calling it even 89.
Division
8-9, you mean? It's 8-9 or 9-8 now because of the extra game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm calling it 7 and 10 because I think 7's better than 4
That's possible.
wins, but
yeah, that's true.
Floor. That's what I got. 7 as the floor, 10 as the ceiling, and I'm in the middle at 9 and 8.
if we were to get 10 wins or 9 wins, we would have to beat Denver once or twice in a row and beat the Chargers at least once in our division. I don't think we could beat the Chiefs yet completely.
I got us tied in the division this year, and I think we don't beat the Chiefs the first go round. Or actually, I got us pretty much losing all our division games in the first. I think the first time we play them, but then winning all the second time we play them. Once the team is more gelled and stuff.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs fell out because of injuries, later injuries when we were going to the playoffs.
But it depends. Could go either way.
When their O-line was terrible, they were not throwing that ball. They weren't protecting Patrick Mahomes. He was getting pressured. He had like absolutely no protection.
What they really do to upgrade their offensive line, though?
Yeah, I was about to hit. Yeah, exactly. Hit the nail on the head. I was about to mention that. Is that if our defensive line takes off, we could sweep the Chiefs this year.
I don't know if we're going to sweep the Chiefs.
It's unlikely, but if they don't address their
offense
and our defense takes off, it's possible.
It's possible that I could win $100,000, but you know.
Hell, their left tackle is that swing lineman from the 49ers. He ain't that good.
Yeah.
Crosby or Kuntz is going to eat his ass alive.
Yeah, the Chiefs did draft the tackle, though. I knew they would draft.
All right, we good on the Geno Aidan talk? You guys have anything else you want to talk about him or no?
Yeah, I want to talk about the wide receiver situation.
I'm asking, do you have anything else you want to talk about with this conversation or no?
Oh, okay.
Now let's go to the next one.
All right.
Yeah. Spike.
Here we can talk about Christian Wilkins and Malcolm Kuntz. All right.
Yes.
This is your conversation, so go ahead and.
Okay. My main concern about Christian Wilkins is that foot of his. You know, how long is it gonna take to heal so he can be 100%, so he can be good to go? How long is it going to take? Because really, it's like he's going to be out a couple months. He's not going to be able to do anything, and it got me spooked. So what do y'all think about that? Because that injury got me spooked.
Hell, with our luck, he won't be ready to start this season. Every time we sign a top of the line free agent, this shit always happens to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, like, wow.
Yeah, foot injury it's hard to heal up, especially a foot. Especially, I do agree with big guys, especially 300-pound plus guys. It's a lot tougher on him, and you know, I hope things get better, but you know, we'll see.
The way I look at it is this: until I see him hit the field, I'm 50-50 on it, but. On the chance that he does come back fully healthy, I think our D-line is going to wreck teams. If he doesn't come back healthy, I think it's going to be Adam Butler and Tyree Wilson rotating at the DT spot. And I think I expect to see a lot of snaps from Tyree inside this season if Wilkins isn't 100%. That's what I'm thinking with Max and Kuntz on the outside. So,
who's our run stopper at defensive tackle right now?
If it's not Wilkins, it's going to probably be Adam Butler or Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson has excellent run stopping skills.
Not to mention,
yeah, but not as a DT. At the end, yes, but not DT.
Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to utilize Tyree inside. Yeah, Tyree Wilson's going to play a lot more snaps inside. He only played 500 and some snaps last season. I can see him going up to that 800
He's a hybrid
snaps
player.
This
He plays. He's
like,
an inside rusher, no doubt, but
yeah,
he's not a
he's a good run stopper too.
A big bulky guy, you know, for a run stop, I would not use him as a tackle. I'd use him as an endo as a run stopper. But as a pass rusher, I definitely use him as a tackle because that's his best attribute. pass rush from the inside. But when you go against the Eagles offense, those 300-plus pound guys, they will plow him. They will plow him. They outweigh him. They'll push him backwards, and then there's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't have the weight to fight them, you know. I mean, he is a strong guy,
on
but
the
pass
inside, he's
rushing and
going
run
to be good against the
stopping
run.
are completely different. Because you lose that
True.
battle against the Eagles or Cowboys. Because they got
Didn't
big
we
old lines.
signed a run stopper from the Cardinals?
Yeah, like I said, that's why I like the big fat guys that are over 300 pounds as tackles. But like I said, Tyree Wilson, he's a rotational defensive tackle / defensive end. You want to move him around in both positions.
Yeah, like Dustin said, he's a DeForest Buckner type of player.
We brought somebody in from Arizona. He's like 340 pounds. I cannot remember the name though.
Well, that's exactly what we need. 320 at least. When you have a run stopper like use on third and short, that's what you want. Big fat guy that's going to push that whole line backwards. You know,
for real.
Because the weight matters. Weight does matter. You know, undersized defensive line will get plowed.
Not just plowed, it will get gashed.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
If that happens, I think what
but
they
if you
might
put
do
him as
is in
an
those
end
situations just a
on the run
4-3 instead
stop.
of 3-4 or something.
But if you put him as an end, though, that's not a bad move for a run stopper. But like on third and short, man, you got to put your big guys in. You got to put the biggest guys you can fit in, you know, in the interior part.
Does anybody have any concerns about Kuntz?
I think Kuntz is looking pretty good. There's nothing like he's practicing fully, so I'm pretty confident that the amount of time the game
I'm
was
excited to
last
see
season.
Kuntz back on the field.
Yeah,
because
I think it's going to change a lot of
a
shit.
lot more pressure, you know.
Exactly.
He's the key to Patrick Mahomes because he always owns Patrick Mahomes. I mean,
I think he had 3 sacks or something, or 2 sacks.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
for
his
real.
rookie year.
I was at that
Patrick
game
can't
on
outrun him.
Christmas.
Yeah.
When Mahomes was crying like a bitch.
When Patrick can't outrun him, he'll catch up to Patty's ass and he'll just make him his bitch.
I'm going to say if Kuntz can replicate where he left off, Kuntz is going to be like the division beater because if you look at how he finished out the season, he had, I can't remember which way around it was, but it was either 2 sacks with the Chargers and 3 with the Chiefs or vice versa. Out of 8 sacks that he had, 5 of them came against 2 division opponents.
Yeah.
So if he can keep up that kind of production, he's going to be the guy that helps to really win the division games, in my opinion.
Yeah. And it's crazy if they double team Max, that means Kuntz will be free and, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Butler ain't a bad pocket pusher either.
Yeah, he's quicker than Crosby. But Crosby's more elusive, but when it comes to Kuntz, when it comes to quickness, though, he's quick. And once he's free, Patrick Mahomes is done. The only thing Mahomes can do is throw the ball to the ground and get an intentional grounding. Because he has no time to throw that ball the way Kuntz runs. He runs so fast, he can't even set his feet while he's running for his life.
Derek Wilson's not a bust. You can't be a bust when you have back-to-back years of 5 sacks. Plus, he had like 37 pressures and 20 run stops last season and 5 sacks.
I understand people say bust and all that, but I wouldn't say. I'd say like some people would say that.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, Cleveland Farrell was a bust, but Cleveland Farrell wasn't a bad player. It was just
Tyree's already had more fucking production than Clay did.
Well, Cleveland wasn't utilized right. He wasn't. Tyree Wilson was utilized better than him. They were practically the same player, except for Tyree
and snap count
Wilson
matters
is
too,
bigger and more physical.
Because it's not 5 sacks on like 1,000 snaps like Max or something. It's 5 sacks on 500 snaps.
But look at if you look at draft capital and all that back then, compare the draft capital. Cleveland Farrell's draft capital was higher than Tyree Wilson's. However, though, there were a lot of players during 2019, a lot of defensive ends that were better than Cleveland Farrell. He should have never been the first defensive end taken. It should have been Josh Allen. Josh Allen should have been taken, not Cleveland Farrell. If they wanted Cleveland Farrell, they should have traded down and then got him. They could have traded down all the way to 15 he'd still be there.
I don't disagree with that. That year when Ed Oliver, who went to Buffalo, the D tackle.
I understand with Tyree Wilson, edge rushers were not really high during the time he was drafted. It was a linebacker edge rusher that was drafted before him, and he was not really an edge rusher. He's a pass rusher, just like Cleveland Farrell. That's all he is, a defensive end / defensive tackle pass rusher. I would have traded down myself. They played it safe just like Mike Mayock did and took him in the 7th pick. But at the time, though, there weren't very many edge rushers or defensive ends. It was a very low level at that time.
See, with Tyree, for example, right? He played 50% of the snaps last year. He's only 50% and had 5 sacks.
I know he was injured and he got
10
injured
quarterback hits, 6 tackles for a loss, and 37
he's a power rusher.
rushes.
So one Christian or Malcolm's played any in this camp. They've been out on the field and they train, they do their workouts, they do those things, but neither of them have played any snaps in this camp. At the end of the day, I believe it's because of one reason. One, Kuntz was ready to go last year. He was ready to be able to play towards the end of the year. I believe Pete and them don't want to let Christian nor Malcolm go out onto the field right now just because of the fact that it's in OTAs. It's a pointless deal. Like, they have a bigger picture in it that they already know who the players are. They know that if they train, that they stay conditioned, that they're up to their deal, that when it comes time for them to come back onto the field, they'll be fully ready to go. And if you look at it for Pete, he has another month or two. He doesn't need to put Christian nor Kuntz out on the field right now for any reason. They have plenty of tape on both of the players. They know exactly who they are. And Max is going to talk up Malcolm just like he did in his presser, where he said that Malcolm Kuntz is the best player he's ever had on the other side of him. And for him to sit and say that over all the people of Yannick, Chandler, all these people, it's a pretty big deal to say that about Malcolm. So I believe Pete's just more protecting him right now in camp because he has no reason to put him out there. And I think when they come back in, training camp, then they'll probably be on the field for sure. But for right now, there's just really no point. They don't have to be out there, in my opinion. And I think it shows. Why would Christian Wilkins be out on the field exercising with the team and doing all the, athletic, calisthenic parts of it? But when it comes time to do drills, they're like, all right, go back in, get rehab, shit like that. Like, they're just showing like they want him to stay in shape. They want him to be ready, and they're going to be working on. I think he'll be just fine. I think both of them will be just fine. So I think at the end of the day, I think Christian will be here. And if not, it'll be Adam Butler. And we have fucking $36 million to go get another defensive tackle and put him down there. I don't think it's really a huge, massive, like, oh, fuck, we're screwed here, So, but I also believe when you sit here and look at, in the past, like you talked about defensive tackles coming in right now, it's 100% facts. They will go out, they're picking up players in certain positions in massive waves. I mean, look at the receiver position. Do we have like 10 fucking wide receivers here when we couldn't even have damn near 6? Like, they're most definitely searching for receivers for depth and be able to bring more advantage to that point in our game. But in the last few years under Gruden, Josh, AP or not, they never had this many. They had like 12 people here just of recent. So I think it shows where the team looks at something that's weak, they're going to try to fix it. So I don't think it'll be too big of a worry. Adam Butler will be just fine. There's numerous players right behind him. So and Tyree Wilson, I've said it over and over, play him DT on the inside with Butler. I think he'll be just fine. So at the end of the day, the Christian Wilkins and Malcolm Kuntz, I just think it's more to protect them, in my personal opinion.
All right, then, Dustin, everybody, y'all be easy. I gotta let this phone charge, so y'all take it easy, okay?
All right. See you.
All right, take it easy.
You guys want to keep talking on this topic or go to Raiders OTAs?
Let's go to OTAs.
Go to OTAs, bro.
All right, so basically in OTAs right now, man, there's a lot of players that have showed up through rookie minicamp, frickin' OTAs, and so on. You have people like Tommy Melton, dude, that's just popped up. You have a dude like freaking Roberts that's popped up big time at the guard position. He's going to most definitely probably take someone's job for sure. That guy's just showed up like a freight train. You got free agent players like Eric Stokes popping up, Jeremy Chin popping up. You got people like frickin' Jack Beach that we picked up through the draft. You have Ashton Genty. I mean, multiple players that have come into this camp so far through rookie mini camp to voluntarily to OTAs. Their game is just picking up massively, and they're already connecting. They're already doing good. Cam Miller, man, he has a real great connection with frickin' Jack Beach, dude. It's like crazy. It's been talked about numerous amount of times in camp already. It's just certain people's connections just work really well out there. It's Tommy Thornton. You got Porter that's pushing snaps, showing up really good. I think in years past, when you look at draft picks or free agent picks, and you start going through these OTAs and going through these things, and people always say, "Oh, it's just practice, just practice." Listen, you play your best ball in practice. That's like that's how you become an elite motherfucker, is to know how to practice. If you know how to fucking practice, you're going to know how to beat people out in the fucking field. It's just fucking proven fact. If you don't know how to practice and you don't come into the game ready, you're not going to fucking do that. Tom Brady show up to the game ready every fucking day, no matter if it's practice or in the fucking park or at some fucking dude's backyard. Like, they show up to play. That's what their job is. And Tom Brady did it at a very high level all the way to 42 years old or more, and to sit there and say, ask Tom Brady 1 year in his career from when he made the Patriots in 2001 and took over to all the way till he finished with Tampa Bay, if he didn't show up to every single fucking practice, and for me, I don't care if you're changing teams or not. He changed teams, went over there and fucking won a Super Bowl, dude. Like, at the end of the day, if you're great or you're trying to be great, that's it's just who you are. And with a lot of our players that are here in OTAs, through Aidan to Geno to fucking Cam, all these people, like I think for us, it's like the very first time in a very long time, dude, that we have a lot of depth, a lot of shit popping up for the first time, and not just in one position of an Ashton Genty because he was a first-round pick. You have people like Beck and Thornton and frickin' Porter and all these dudes like Grant and fucking and Robert Rogers. Like, you have numerous people all over this fucking team that are just fucking popping up, and they're popping up in fucking practice. Like, that's where you start fucking showing up. And with their energy coming into this team, with their scheme and the way that they're already pressuring people, you look at Eric Stokes, dude, where we gave up Nate Hobbs. We took Eric Stokes, first round pick, brought him over here. Did he have a few good years over there and struggle? Yeah, that's just what happens. But at the end of the day, he shows up over here. They're like, he's pushing for an outside corner job right now. Like, that just shows right there, dude. Like, the dude came here, showed up in practice, put injuries behind him, and he's ready to fucking play. And I've said it. A lot of people are right. You're going to see who you are when the pads come on. It's just a proven fucking fact. And there's a lot of people that can play good without pads and, do this, that, the other. Great players play without pads and play with pads. It's just who they fucking are. And if you don't play with that, then you're never going to be good in the NFL, no matter who the hell you are. Like, at the end of here in a little bit. But if you're not doing it in both aspects from the beginning to the end, that's not the type of player we should want. We want fucking guys that are coming in here fucking
want to be competitive.
People will sit there and say, well, they're trying to learn, like with Geno's excuse. They'll say they did this with a fucking Gardner. They did this with Jimmy. They say, well, he's trying to learn his speed. Listen, fuck, you've been in the NFL for 11, 12 years. You've played with plenty of speed players. I'm pretty sure it's only going to take a few plays for you to be able to connect with him in speed. I mean, there's videos of Tom Brady, dude, literally where he puts 3 balls down on the ground, a fucking cart come flying through the fucking middle of the fucking field, dude, and he picks up each ball and fucking dings that fucking deal on a post every single time. Bam, bam, bam. Like, he didn't fucking, he just have that thing pop out every single day. Like, some people just have it, and all I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, the players that have it are showing up. And in the past, I've said this, we don't really develop people. They just come already developed. Like, Max Crosby probably has to be the only player, and God who knows how long, that we physically have developed to be the type of player he is. Everybody else, when it comes to people like fucking, well, even Bowers, we didn't fucking develop him. He came here like that. That's who he was, you know. It's just going to be like Ashton Genty. It's like, we're not going to develop Ashton Genty. He's already that guy. Like, there's certain players that come to the NFL and are already them, you know, and those are the guys we have good success with. We don't have good success when it comes to developing a player, you know, and I get it how a lot of people like Jacoby Myers and say like, oh, Jacoby's a great guy. Look what he's done. Listen, we've done that with a lot of wide receivers over the last few years. We've done it with Nelson Aguilar, numerous people. Just because you have come out here and have 1,000-yard season and you got a few touchdowns, it doesn't mean that you're just this great player. It's just it's a milestone he hit for him. That's what he fucking did, you know. So I've said it. Most of our players here that hit 1,000 yards is because of the fact that the rest of the team is hurt and fucking they just keep throwing them the fucking ball and then they end up getting big yards and, you know, doing that. It's happened with Renfro and it's happened with Waller, you know, like you can't confuse the way someone gets that 1,000 yards when the rest of the team isn't playing, you know. So in this year, through the free agency, through the draft, I would say we're going to have a pretty consistent all-around team now. So I don't think you're going to see a guy like Bowers just going for 1,500 fucking yards because you do have a Jacoby, you do have a Thornton, you do have a Tucker, you do have multiple other assets to be able to use across the board to pick up yards too. So, and in Chip Kelly offense, it's something like you guys said earlier. You can run 12 personnel. You can run this. You can run it all. You can run it all. Chip Kelly knows every single formation. He's going to have fucking dual backs. He's going to have dual tight ends. He's going to have fucking 5 wide receivers. He's going to play high. He's going to play weak. He's going to play all strong. I mean, he's going to play all fucking formations. The guy's not going to limit himself with the fucking starting, team is what he has right now. It'd be fucking crazy. Just of the people I've said between going from Genty and Monster and fucking Sear McCormick, then you're going Michael Mayer, fucking Bowers, you're going Tucker, Mayer, fucking Thornton, fucking why am I spacing the other guy? But you got numerous receivers on this team. Like the team is pretty fucking good.
There too.
And who?
Beck.
Yeah, Beck. That's who I was thinking. Fucking, and then that's what I was saying. I'm like, I don't know why I'm spacing his name, but the team has showed up in a massive way this year. Offensive lineman, you pull out fucking, I don't care if you pull out Meredith or you pull out Parham, you can put in Grant or fucking Rogers. I'm willing to bet Rogers takes a starting job this year from person on that line. I'll bet anything I own. From everything I've heard from him showing up in camp, this dude's real deal Holyfield. Like he's fucking here to take someone's fucking job for sure. So at the end of the day, I just feel like for the first time in a long time from a Pete Carroll and Spytek draft, it's way beyond any draft that we've had in years, way beyond. It's not even close. The talent that we're talking about from Porter and
Stokes, no, Hobbs.
Fucking Porter and Thornton, that just the development alone between those two, it's going to be massive, dude. There's nothing we can compare that to any person that we've had in the past that can equal to what those two guys can do if they hit their potential. You have a lockdown ass man press corner, and you're going to have one big ass fast fucking wide receiver. So I think if he gets, he has it all. I mean, Thornton could be a deadly fucking dude. And guess what? Edgar Bennett going to teach that motherfucker just like he did with Jacoby, just like he's done with any person being here. So I like I've said, Edgar Bennett's going to do just fine with their team. But long story short, I think through the free agency and the draft, I think these guys are going to have a great year with the team. Is there going to be a lot of learning curves? Yes, I think so for sure. But if you're looking at our safeties with Chin and fucking Apollo, and then you're looking at our corners, is the only kind of iffy spot for me, dude, just where you're going like, are you going Jacoby? Are you going fucking Richardson? Are you going Porter? I mean, what's your options here? I would go Porter and Richardson if it was me, and then drop Jacoby down into that motherfucking, or Jacorian Bennett down into the fucking slot, and that's how I'd play that shit. But at the end of the day, the linebackers, I think they'll be all right, because I think we still have Masterson here. Then we're gonna have fucking White, Robertson, and Amari Gainer. So I think we're going to be just fine. Plus, you also have the dude that we drafted.
I thought we waived Gainer.
Say again.
No, I'm thinking of Bernie. My bad.
Yeah, and then so you get you still have the dude we drafted last year at the linebacker position, and you have Eichenberg, and then you have frickin' Lindenberg or whatever his name is this year. So linebackers, I think we have plenty of linebackers down there. Plus all the guys we brought in from fucking UDFAs and so on. I'm pretty sure they're going to find a fucking linebacker there. Defensive line and defensive ends, I feel just fine with them. And just like I said, I think the corner position will probably be a thing of need for sure. Veteran, somebody there that can go take us out and help win right away. But long story short, I think we have a great team here and a lot of great talent going forward.
A good pass rush makes that secondary look a whole lot better, though.
True that.
Facts.
Good pass rush. Then all of a sudden we're not covering back there for 5-6 seconds.
You guys have anybody you want to talk about in free agents or in the OTAs that you guys like or what you're hearing?
No, not really off the top of my head.
Sam.
The one thing I like that I'm hearing. Sorry, go ahead, Rudy.
I was hearing that Ashton Yinty's doing pretty good, but I like to see how he does well in the preseason, and I can understand how he may do well in the regular season because OTAs are different when it comes to the preseason. Because when you actually play against actual teams, it shows you a preview of what can happen in the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is that the thing I'm hearing is that Thornton's developing nicely because, like, he already has, like, the God skills of, like, speed and height and all that kind of stuff. And he has pretty decent hands. So one thing was he needs to work on his route tree, and all the reports coming out showing that he's doing exactly that. I mean, if that guy can develop right, it's just going to add a whole new dynamic to our offense.
Yeah, I think freaking, I don't think Tyree's going to be a bust, man. I think if they figure out a way to play Tyree, they're going to be able to be just fine. It was something like you guys brought up earlier about Cleveland Farrell. I said for years, I said it in my Discords, I said it in lives, I've said it all over the place that if they would have never taken Clee out of the defensive tackle position, I think he would have been just damn fine. But the fact that they pulled him from a DT after his first year and tried to put him as a DN, I think that's what ended up ruining that player. And that's something that we do all the time is ruin players. I think if Cleve was able to stay inside, one of the biggest things people talk about is pressures. When it came to Cleveland Farrell's first year and we played DT, he had one of the highest pressure rates and double team rates in the whole entire league. So sometimes we fuck up by moving players and asking them to do something else because of what they did in Clemson with Christian Wilkins, literally the guy here on our team right now, was able to play inside and play outside. So there's numerous reasons why players develop or why they become good or things of those factors. But I feel like at the end of the day, I fucking read that text message. I fucking hate when people do that shit. At the end of the day, Tyree and so on. So I feel like if we were to focus on Tyree the right way and quit asking him to go outside when you have people like Malcolm Kuntz and frickin' Snowden, that's obviously a better player at that position. Let them go outside. Let them be the speed players. I've made this from the first time that we've had Tyree here. If you play Tyree the right way, he will be a DeForest Buckner. His wingspan is insane. He's a fucking good run stopper up the gut. The guy can play good up the gut, dude. Like, and he's very strong. I mean, if people go back just for an instance for a game that people can just realize was the Cowboys game when he fucking grabbed that dude by one hand and ran him back 10 yards, dude just fucking manhandled that dude. And Tyree has only gotten better. Max Crosby's literally been on the field and said, "This is my son. This is my son right here." Like, Max isn't going to sit and go out, like say out of his way to talk about a player. And not only that, Tyree's gotten better every year. He's gotten better every single year playing for our fucking broke ass team. So I think if Tyree is finally get to be an inside guy, why Max and them are an outside guy. And don't get me wrong, if you play him on an outside but have a linebacker over him, I don't think it's going to hurt him. But I just wouldn't primarily try to say Tyree needs to be a DN because I think he'd play a better DT than he would be a better DN. Some players, he's just big and he's strong. That's what he is. And inside, that's what you need. You need to be able to move people. So if someone tries to double team you, he can fucking hold him there or he can push him back. Like if the line can't move him, that means that the player can't run through. So the player has to veer off behind the fucking line to get up and around or get on the outside. Like those change the whole fucking game, and one player can do that. And I've said I believe on him being on that inside. Use him in a rotation and an outside if you need him. But I think if you're trying to look at his contract, justify who the player is, and if you're gonna think about re-signing him, I would play him at a primary DT, and then if he can't play the position, I wouldn't sign him. I would let him go when it comes time to sign him on his next contract. Like that's what I would do. But I don't think Tyree is a bust, and I don't think he's a bad player. I think if he gets in the right system with a Pete fucking Carroll and he gets to play rotation, I think you're going to see Tyree play his best football yet. He'll play his best ball this year.
That's fact.
Yeah, I do agree because like Howie Long.
He's improved every year.
Yeah, Howie Long, when he played with the Raiders, we played a 3-4 defense back in the 80s. Then we switched to a 4-3. When we switched to a 4-3, Howie Long switched from defensive end to defensive tackle because he was an inside guy. And that's the same principle with Tyree Wilson. He's an inside guy. He's not an edge rusher. He's a power, straight to the middle pass rusher. And it's the same thing with Cleveland Farrell. He was the same thing. And Cleveland Farrell was a 3-4 defense guy. He wasn't a 4-3, which is why he should have been, like Dustin said, put him in as a defensive tackle and the pass rush, And that's why it was misunderstood. Josh McDaniels drafted Tyreek Hill to be, in my opinion, to be the new Richard Seymour, because that's what Richard Seymour was too. Same size, same build, 290 pounds, same built and everything.
Pocket pusher
/ defensive end. Yeah, he was a pass rusher. He wasn't an edge rusher either. He was just a pass rusher. Patriots played a 3-4 defense, but he went to the Raiders. He ended up playing a 4-3, so they put him as a defensive tackle. That's what Richard Seymour was, and that's what you have to do with Tyree Wilson. That's just the way they are. You put him as a defensive end or as an edge rusher, Tyree Wilson, you're doing the same thing like you did to Cleveland Farrell. You're setting him up for failure. He's just a pass rusher. That's what he is. He's an inside guy. He's not going to try to beat the tackle on the outside. He's going to push him on the inside. That's what his job is as a pass rusher. I mean, Max Crosby, he's a bender, and he's a guy that'll beat the tackle at the outside, which is why he's a true edge rusher. So is Malcolm Kuntz. You cannot put Tyree Wilson in that situation. He's got to be a pusher, not a guy that's going to beat a guy off on the edge.
I would have paused too after he said beat a guy off.
Yeah, big close now.
How's Zamir White been looking?
I don't know.
Josh Lyman again.
That guy has no vision.
No, he doesn't follow blocks. That's his problem. When he played that we played that power block offense, though, it did well. But when we went to zone blocking, he started doing the same thing he did in his rookie year, running into the offensive
Are we
line.
running a zone blocking scheme this year or no?
I think I do agree with a lot of people that have been saying put him as a fullback. You know, he's a good blocker. Like if Geno Smith or Aidan O'Connell is in the shotgun and they have a back on their, it's not a bad idea to put him as a blocker right there to protect the quarterback, against blitzers. That wouldn't be a bad move, like in the shotgun formation.
I was the one
He is
that
a
said
good
that
blocker.
from day one. From
Yeah.
day one, I was the one that said Zamir should be a fullback.
Yeah, man, I was like saying it like from a shotgun formation, like he has he has one back, and that's it. And a blitzer comes in, and Zamir can block. And he can block pretty good for his size, though. But he's not real big. He's like 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, but he can block 230 or 40, 50 pound linebackers. I mean, I've seen some running backs smaller than Zamir that have blocked, like Jalen Richard, who was like our number 2, number 3 running back. He was a
I
better
always
blocker
liked
than
him.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he was a better blocker than Josh Jacobs too, and he was smaller than Josh Jacobs too. But man, I felt bad he was gone. But like I said, he was a receiving scat back is what he was, just like Amir Abdul, who is a free agent. We haven't signed him. We're probably not going to. He's an older veteran running back, but he's been the healthiest out of a lot of our running backs, despite being a veteran.
You also know what you're going to get out of Amir.
Yeah. I don't know what's up. I don't know if Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll are not too enthusiastic in re-signing him.
As far as our line goes, what kind of blocking scheme are we running? Zone blocking?
Yeah, it's definitely zone blocking. It's that West Coast zone blocking, just like what John Gruden had from the beginning. And then we went with Josh McDaniels. We went with the power block, and it was a good fit for guys like Dylan Parham. But when Dylan Parham was a left guard and / center, when we went to zone blocking, he played right tackle, and he looked like garbage. He didn't fit the zone blocking. And I think with zone blocking, you need big offensive guards. He's 6'3", 285 pounds.
I could see us trading him.
Oh yeah, I'd trade him for. I think possibly for. I know this sounds bad. Probably a 5th round pick at best. I think.
Hell, I was literally gonna say a 5th round pick. Maybe a 4 if we're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, he's undersized. He doesn't fit a lot of the zone blocking offenses. You want a team that he probably would fit better would be like, as much as I hate to say it, Patriots. He'd probably fit better with them.
Or
Josh
Denver.
McDaniels.
Granted,
Yeah,
we'd never send him to Denver, but they run zone blockings too.
Oh, the zone blocking, he'll fail in Denver. They do zone. He belongs in the power block, like an air raid offense. Like he would fit with Denver, probably fit with maybe Arizona or somewhere around there. But or they might just convert him into a tight end as a blocking tight end. Because if you look at him, he's a good sized tight end, but he's undersized for a guard. He needs to gain 15 pounds to be at least average sized guard.
Who is it?
Dylan Parham.
Yeah, I know he could play center and all that. But man, he just doesn't fit the zone blocking up.
He ain't taking that job from fucking JPJ, not on his life.
No, he's too small. I mean, JPJ, he's a good sized guard and a good sized center. I mean, he's like same height as him, 6'3", but 223 pounds. That's a good size.
JPJ literally told AP he was going to go in that game and play motherfucking center over them looking for a dude to begin with. And he's going to tell Parham the same fucking thing. He's going to be like, you're going to sit on the bench. You're not taking my job, bud.
Yeah.
Parham's about to be 86 off this team. I'll bet anything. If he's not going to be able to beat out Meredith, if he can't beat out Meredith for that job, he's gonna fucking lose his job because from what I've heard already, Rodgers is out in camp right now, and he's fucking gonna take a job. He's gonna take somebody's job here, so somebody's gonna get ready. Like they're gonna get ready. So, and Grant, he's probably gonna do the same thing when they come back to camp. So they better be prepared that a tackle and a guard may be losing their job here. So, and it can be Thea Munford, it can be somebody else in that backfield that may not have a job anymore. So, but we'll see where
Munford's
they
been
come
injured
back
a lot.
days.
Mumford's
He
also
lost his
never
job
really
to,
developed.
DJ Glaze last year. Yeah, DJ Glaze, he played pretty damn good as a right tackle, and I'd like to keep him as a right tackle. If you can move a tackle to a guard for now, and then later on he could be a because I noticed that what's his name, Grant, he played left tackle, and he could possibly be a security blanket for Colt Miller. If he gets hurt, then you could put him in there. He has strong familiarity as a left tackle, but we don't want to do like we did with Brandon Parker, because people thought Brandon Parker could play right tackle, and he was not a right tackle. He was always a left tackle, and he struggled a lot in his rookie year with Colt Miller and him. But when Colt Miller was hurt, they put Parker in, and Parker blocked pretty damn good for the injured Colt Miller, and it was a poor evaluation on these tackles. It's like some tackles can play both positions, and then some can't. We did the same stupid shit like Robert Gallery. He was supposed to replace Lincoln Kennedy. I didn't give a shit. I wanted Larry Fitzgerald. Fuck getting a tackle. I wanted him. We ended up going for Robert Gallery, who was a left tackle. And what did they do? Switch him to right tackle, and he struggled. He could not handle Sean Merriman, the Charger defensive end or edge linebacker. He overpowered him like it was nothing. And what did we do? We moved Robert Gallery to guard, and then later on, he ends up going to Seattle. I mean, we got to do better evaluation on our offensive line, see where their strengths and weaknesses are at. Because, like I said, I don't know too much about Grant, but he's a tackle. But I saw that he played left tackle in college, and I would say right now guard is our biggest problem. Put him as a guard for now, and then maybe he'll be a left tackle in the future or something.
I say stick him at right guard, put Meredith at left. We already know we have at center, and Miller, obviously, he's going to be the left tackle.
Yeah. I mean, well, if Caleb Rogers plays like Dustin was saying, he could be taking the left guard position, or if not, the right guard position. But I mean, you could.
It's good to have these problems too.
Yeah, but like I said, I like
their main intention is to play Kappa at the right guard until he fails. But I think Meredith's job, like I said, I think Parham, he has too many options of not getting the job, because if, let's say, Kappa beats out Parham, and then let's say Rogers beats out
Meredith?
No, beats out Kappa, that pushes Parham right off the spot to begin with. Then Parham's got to jump over, and he's going to have to compete with Meredith. And then if fucking Meredith beats him out at that fucking position,
your ass is out of a job.
The only other option would be is if you were trying to play Grant, or how well Grant was playing, is Grant would, if he was going to be a left tackle, it'd probably be smart to play him at the left guard. So he would probably push Meredith for that position at that point in time. And then whoever wins will sit behind each other, regardless if it's Meredith or if it's Grant, because you can have 8-9 linemen up on the line this year because of the new kickoff rules. So at the end of the day, I think you can easily do those options right there. I mean, I think Parham needs to fight for his life. If you're just asking me, I mean, I would probably play DeMar Glaze where he's at, just because he knows it. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. Grant can play both ways. He's played both ways, so he can most definitely push on DJ Glaze I don't think, why would you want to put somebody on Colton Miller? Colton Miller's still young. Most linemen can play into their 40s. Colton has been phenomenal when he's healthy. He's a top 10 right left tackle. Like, he ranks 10th of all right or left tackles. So Colton's no slouch of a player, and you would want to show that you were committed to him because he's a top 10 player at his position. So I'm pretty sure you're going to want to break a contract with him if he holds his protection this year. So to me, I think you would be wanting to go on the right tackle position. I think the right tackle position is right tackle and the right guard. I mean, I think Meredith is going to hold his spot just fine. He had 399 snaps last year, 0 pressure, 0 sacks. I mean, he can most definitely hold his own out on the when he's out there. So, I mean, unless somebody on this line, Rogers beats him out. I mean, if Kappa beats out Parham, and then you can see Rogers beating out Meredith, then I can see that happening. But I would say it's going to primarily be in that right guard position.
Yeah. I would mostly see like Grant would just be an insurance policy just in case Miller gets hurt. You know, just an insurance, just insurance. It's always good to have a good insurance policy. But the only thing we got to improve is the run blocking, and we were terrible last year. We were ranked 32nd in rushing, and we've got to improve that blocking. It doesn't matter what running back we put in. If they don't get the proper blocks, there's not going to have a lot of rushing. We've got to improve the blocking.
I'm going to jump off here, guys.
What is up with your camera, bro? But I get it. I see it. I get it now. I'm like, I fucking had to look up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, you mean the blurry background?
Yeah.
I just want to blur because I'm still trying to make like a virtual background, but I got to fix my lighting. It was too.
I was thinking, I'm like, is that fucking? What the heck is that?
Yeah, because it's that, or I put this one on, and then it's like but then it looks like I'm ghosting some of the time.
I'm going to jump off here, guys. I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too, guys.
Heck yeah. You want to talk about Pete's philosophy? I think that's one of your topics.
Yeah, we can do that quickly. And then just remind me later for me to get all the info for everyone on the panel today so I can be posting their stuff next time.
All right.
So yeah, so my topic is Pete's philosophy, in that since Pete's come in, it's not just the young guys or just the veterans that are like buying in. It's like everybody, and it's pretty much becoming contagious. Like it's like going through the whole team, and it's the first time since I'd say Gruden's first stint where I've seen the whole team kind of buy in the way they are. Because I say the second time Gruden tried to re-implement that, but he didn't implement it to the same way he did back in 98 and the early days. But I feel like this is the first time we've got the whole team is bought in, both defense, offense, all the coaches are bought in. And one of the things that I love to hear from Pete in this last interview is that not only is he holding players accountable for the way they play or with the energy and the juice that they bring, but he's also holding coaches accountable. And past regimes haven't really done that. I mean, even Gruden in his second stint did not do that. He did not hold Paul Gunther accountable on defense for like 3 seasons until he finally cut his ass. So I'm just glad that it's just starting out. And Pete's basically already come in and said, like, if you don't do your job as coaches, then you're going to be gone too, just like players. And that's what this organization needs, because we've had a developmental issue for years.
Yeah.
Like, we have not been able to develop players that well for years. We've been able to develop some here and there, but not to the extent that we should be if all the coaches, all the development coaches are doing their job. And in saying that, that's one of the reasons I'm glad we kept Rob Leonard and Patrick Graham, because it gives us that continuity on defense on at least one side of the ball. And especially Rob. I mean, I think Rob at some point, like if Graham gets a head coaching job, after Pete kind of like helps him refine his defense, and then he gets hired as a head coach, I can see Rob Leonard being our next defensive coordinator. Like that's what I'd probably promote to defensive coordinator. Have him stay as the defensive coordinator under Pete for a couple of years, and then maybe he could even be a head coaching candidate for us at like a succession plan at some point in the future, like 3-4 years down the road or something. And that's what I like to see. It's like there's an actual plan, not just with players and player positions and groups, but there's an actual plan with the coaches as well. And there's the same accountability to them as there is to the players. And I think that's where it starts. It starts with accountability. It starts with rebuilding this whole team and organization the right way, something we haven't done in 20 years. So anyway,
yeah,
you guys go.
I was going to say that Pete, with Patrick Graham, he's more of a defensive mind guy, and I think he can improve. I really don't see him as a head coach. He's just not, because he should have taken over, like Dustin said years ago. He should have took over the coaching job when they fired Josh McDaniels. Instead, they gave it to a linebacker coach who didn't outrank Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham brought him in, and I think that just tells you I don't think he is. There's a lot of great defensive mind coaches who just are not coach material, like Vic Fangio. He's not coaching material as a head coach. But I mean, and usually, like I know some people said, like Rich Bisaccia could have been a possible good head coach because he's kind of like Bill Belichick, because Belichick originally was a special teams coach. Then he became a linebacker coach, then a defensive coordinator, then he became a head coach, But Bill Belichick, he understood offense and defense, understand both spectrums, and that is important for a coach. And I think Patrick Graham, he's more into the defense. I don't think he wants to be a head coach. I think he's more going to stay in the defensive spectrum. He wants to be a defense guy.
I think the reason for that is, like with last year, is if we put Patrick Graham as the interim, there was a high chance we'd lose him at the end of the season. So that's why they promoted someone like AP, who they suspected wasn't someone they were overly worried about losing at that time, because we didn't want to lose Graham at that time. Because generally, most of the time, interim head coaches don't become your head coach most of the time. AP did, but generally that doesn't happen and doesn't usually work out too well. So if your plan is to keep Patrick Graham long term, then you don't want to necessarily promote him as the interim. With that said, though, as for why he hasn't been a head coach, I think there's some things he needs to refine, and I think Pete Carroll's the kind of guy that's going to help him refine it. I mean, Dustin's spoken on it plenty of times. I think Pete not only develops players, but he develops coaches as well. Like, Pete's a true head coach. He doesn't just develop the players, or he also develops the coaches underneath him.
Yeah. There was a time I would have said, like Rich Bisaccia, when he was an interim coach, the owner had lack of awareness where he switched from a West Coast offense to an air raid. And when you switch from West Coast to air raid, you make a lot of changes, and that was pretty bad. We could have went with a Jim Harbaugh over a Josh McDaniels because he was a West Coast guy, and that would have been better. It would have been a better fit for us. It was a mistake because the only thing Mark Davis looked at was X's and O's history with Josh McDaniels when he was an OC for the Patriots, but he didn't look at where he was a failure as a head coach with the Denver Broncos, even though he got like what's his name? What's the former GM that hired Josh McDaniels? Damn it, I forgot his name.
Who? Ziegler?
Ziegler, yeah, Ziegler, because they were bros from Denver and all that. And it was just they didn't go by logic. They said this team is a West Coast offense team. You don't want to make a big change like that. When you do that, it could hurt the whole team, and that's what it did. It hurt the whole team. Even though we did improve the running, even though it was ranked 17th in rushing and Jacobs was leading rusher, but the bad part was that Jacobs was taking too much damage, and the other running backs weren't being rotated. And what's funny is Josh McDaniels ran an offense where they rotated 3 or 4 running backs. They didn't go by one running back, and he used up Josh Jacobs more than Gruden did, and Gruden used Jacobs quite a bit too, But it would have been. I never liked Josh McDaniels. I was right about him, and people were saying, even the media, oh, Josh McDaniels is going to make this team great. I knew he wasn't, because I also looked at the fact that, yes, he was with the Patriots his last year as the OC, and they were a number 6 seed while we were a number 5 seed. And yeah, they played okay even with Matt Jones under Josh McDaniels. And then when McDaniels was gone, Matt Jones looked like dog shit, because he didn't have his OC with him. And yeah, Josh McDaniels develops quarterbacks pretty good, but I think that it was a huge mistake. This is what happens when you have an owner who isn't like team football awareness. It lacked that. That was a problem, and you have to have a GM that's more like, it's not really a true GM. I think Ziegler's good at getting players. I mean, he's just like Mike Mayock, but he wasn't a guy who's good at taking control of the team. Spytek seems like he's in control of the team, and free agency's done that. So far I want to see how these players play out with both Pete Carroll and Spytek and Chip Kelly. See how it goes. If they work together and put their heads together, that's what's going to help us win, win in general. We got to win game for game before we think about playoffs or Super Bowl. But, we got to start one step at a time. And I hope we can do this. But, yeah, that's all I can think of so far right now.
It says that it sounds like chaos on the set of Madden movie, as one actor reportedly quit over locker room nudity and the N-bomb, while Nick Cage and Christian Bale's method acting is driving everyone insane.
Oh, by the way, with that thing, that the Raiders thing that's coming out, do you guys know when they're releasing it on Netflix?
I have no idea.
I don't watch Netflix at all.
Oh, okay, fair enough. No, I watch it. I mean, there's some good shit on there.
Yeah.
Although then again, I watch a lot of different. I have a lot of different subscriptions because they have different shit on different stuff.
Yeah, my brother used to get Netflix and he gave it up. He didn't like it. When I was in Alaska, he would have Netflix, and then he just goes with Disney Plus. That's it. He doesn't even do cable or anything.
Yeah, I got that one too.
The internet. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got like Disney Plus, I got Netflix, I got Foxtel, and I got like so many different subscriptions just because there's different shit on each one.
Yeah.
I hate how they do that, man. I get why they do it, because it's a way, to have their own exclusive shows and stuff to get you to subscribe. Yeah.
Remember the old days? I used to watch DirecTV, watch ESPN like crazy, NFL Sports channel. I can't remember it. It's all different now. But I watch ESPN religiously.
I'm gonna buy me another one.
I used to watch Fox News religiously too. Back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Fox.
But, man, I do miss the old antennas though, because before HD had the antennas. I remember my old apartment. I was 20 years old. I watched my Raider football, and people hear me yelling loud, and all that a few times, just in the daytime when the Raiders were playing. I'm upstairs. But yeah, it's crazy these days. But yeah, now that the Raiders are Las Vegas, it makes it hard to see my team on TV sometimes because of the Chargers or the 49ers.
So what was your guys' next topic? So I think I pretty much said what I wanted to say on that one.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about the flag football?
I've heard, I've heard about it. And apparently, isn't there going to be like an Olympic one or something for you guys?
Yeah, there's this guy he's pissed off. His name's Daryl Duchit, and 5'8", 140-pound U.S. flag football quarterback.
Wait, say again.
It's disrespectful that the NFL thinks they will take Olympic team spots with the sport debut in the 2028. So I think it's disrespectful that they just automatically assume that they're able to just join the Olympic team because of the players that they didn't help grow the game to get the Olympics. To get to the Olympics.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too. Phil.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
So what's
I agree.
he saying?
America's
Together
America would have more advantage.
So I don't know why you asked.
Yeah, it will.
It's because football is more of American sports than, and you have to get
Well,
other
NFL is,
countries. Yeah.
Every country has their own form of football. I mean, most of the world has
Yeah.
soccer as their form of football. But like Australia, you got Aussie rules football and rugby, and then you also got like other forms of football. But yeah, but I get what you're saying with NFL though. I mean, if it's like NFL, like gridiron, if you want to be specific, if it's gridiron football, then it should be something that is spearheaded by some kind of American committee, because of your guys, like your guys.
This guy went on to say that he's better than Patrick Mahomes on the
that's how disrespectful
for the NFL.
That's a stupid.
But a guy that's 4'8" and he's 140 pounds and he's better than Patrick Mahomes.
That's just stupid. That's just dumb to say, because
he said in flag football, I have a bigger IQ and play better than Patrick Mahomes, is what he said.
That's just dumb. What nationality is that guy?
I don't know.
Because I'm taking he's not an American guy. Then I'm taking he's not an American guy. By the sounds of it.
Well, I mean, he plays for
he plays for USA. Yeah, but because sometimes how sometimes with the Olympic teams they'll get people from other countries to play for the team and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking if his background is actually American or not, because he doesn't sound like it's saying that.
Yeah, but that guy, in order to play in the Olympics, you have to be from that country, and that's how basketball goes. That's how basketball goes. Everything. That's like where Giannis, all them, Luka, they all play for their countries. They won't play here.
Okay. Well, that's the case. That's weird for him to say that if he's an American and should know who Patrick Mahomes is, and that's a bit weird to say that.
I was gonna say Akeem Olajuwon. He was from Nigeria, but he didn't play for Nigeria. He played for the Dream Team America because he had citizenship to America. So that
that's what I was wondering.
Really African American,
Because if it's to do with citizenship or not.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, he was, and he became citizen. And he played against his own, country, but
This guy said we don't need NFL players to play in flag football Olympics.
You know what though?
Well, it's probably true to a point. You don't need NFL players, but it'd be better if you did.
Yeah, I think that flag football is totally.
And I think it would be more. I think it'd be more sensible to have because there's going to be dudes that are like second and third stringers, or guys that on people's rosters that might not necessarily be getting snaps, that are probably going to play better than some of those guys already on the Olympic team, to be honest.
Yeah. Or they get the guys from the UFL playing in the Olympics instead of the NFL. They'll play better than them too.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they've been playing the sport since high school and fucking college. And...
Yeah. I mean, they only got people, other countries, like the Canadians, they can play. They're familiar with American football. The rules are.
I think
similar.
Australia would do okay, just because over the last, I say, maybe 5 or 6 years, it's become like a bigger game over here. Like there's actual gridiron teams over here now.
Yeah.
I wish I had gridiron teams when I was a kid. I would have fucking played for sure.
Yeah. Football, I think it's just too complex.
I played lacrosse a bit.
Yeah. I mean, like baseball and basketball, it's not as complicated as it's very familiar with basketball and baseball in other countries.
Yeah, because
when I
was a kid, they didn't really gridiron wasn't that big in Australia yet. Because I mean, the earliest recollection I have of gridiron was, I think it was Green Bay Packers and the Rams or something like that some team came to Australia when I was young, and that was like my first experience with gridiron. That's when I started liking it, and that's when I got into the Raiders and shit.
Yeah,
I was looking for a team to follow, but back then it's like all my information came through reading, didn't even come through watching it, because I didn't have the access.
I remember Janikowski. He was originally a soccer player that played kicker for us. He was from Poland, and and then he ends up being the kicker, lefty, the most accurate left kicker I've ever seen with a power leg, because you don't see too many left foot kickers kick.
That's true. That's another reason why Aussies make good kickers too, because of the Australian rules football and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the whole sport is based on kicking, so it's not
The only thing
surprising
that
they make good kickers.
the only thing Seabass needed to stay away from was the ecstasy and the beer at that time in his earlier years.
But that was that. To be honest, that was a shit in the 90s, though.
Yeah. But yeah,
Ecstasy and
he got
partying
better.
and rave music and shit.
Yeah. And yeah, when I see Seabass, he looks like the lead singer from Limp Bizkit, known as Fred Durst. He looks like Fred Durst.
Yeah, every time you mention that shit about ecstasy and stuff, it reminds me of that movie Rise of the Foot Soldier. But again, getting back to on topic with the Olympic stuff, though, it would make too much sense for at least to have like either NFL players or, like you said, UFL players should be part of the team, because they're going to be more experienced. And if you really want to win gold medals, you want to pick the best guys possible. So.
Yeah, I remember Emmitt Smith. He was all talking about it. It was in the early 2000s of making football an Olympic sport. So it's been heard of before, though.
The thing that I hate, though, is it shouldn't be flag football. It should be real gridiron. That's an Olympic sport.
Oh yeah, it should be. That's what
See,
football's about.
the problem is, I think that a lot of sports, like if the sport has a certain following, even locally, it should be at least trialed as an Olympic sport. Whether it's gridiron from the US or Australian rules from Australia, like if it has a big enough following at home, like in an origin country, they should at least trial it as an Olympic sport and see how it does.
Yeah.
Because I've actually noticed that certain Aussie rules stuff has been, like when I was Googling about it and stuff, it's becoming a bit more popular in the US now, kind of how gridiron started to become popular back in the day over here. Which is kind of cool, I mean, that cultural exchange.
Yeah, I won't lie. Flag football, like if it was me playing it, if I didn't have these migraines and I was a little bit younger, I wouldn't mind playing it. But watching people, though, it's just boring. I'd rather see actual tackling football when I watch it. But
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Flag football to me is kind of boring to watch. That's why I'd rather just like have real gridiron.
Yeah, and it's kind of shitty to have a Pro Bowl with flag football. All you're going to do is see a lot of people fall asleep.
Exactly, it's pointless.
Yeah, people want to see someone get the snot knocked out of them.
Because that's pretty much what the what do you call it? The annual
spike.
The Pro Bowl shit's turned into flag football.
Yeah,
pretty much. So.
Yeah, I'd be way too small for a nose guard or I think it means nose tackle. I don't know. Actually, the definition of a nose guard is actually a center.
To be honest, if I ever did play, it probably would have. If it was defensively, it probably would have been something like strong safety or something. Because I would have been big enough to play linebacker.
Yeah, I'd play center, not center. I would play if I was a blocker. I'd be a running back. But my brother, he played tight end, even though we were like 5'8", 5'9".
I could have played linebacker maybe, but I don't think I would have been big enough for that.
In high school, a little bit
under. Build-wise.
High school was about 100. My junior year, the heaviest weight I was 150, but I was at 5'8". Yeah, they would probably put me as a linebacker or safety, but I didn't play football in high school. My brother did, and he got a nasty injury in the forearm. It was crazy. Spike said he was a tight end and a middle linebacker in college. That's cool, Spike. Yeah. My brother, he was, I've said this before, where this quarterback threw a ball to him and he was laid out. He thought he could beat the linebacker. The linebacker laid him out. Then he goes to the huddle. He goes, okay, I'm in. And he goes, hey, Rick, you're in the wrong, this is the defense, not the offense, And it's concussed, And it was like it was a little bit funny, but that's what happens. You get concussed. Tight ends. If a quarterback throws a ball out for him to get laid out by a linebacker, that's quarterback's fault, man.
If I was playing offense, I probably would go tight end or receiver, possibly halfback.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be. Let's just put it this way: the worst thing that could happen to someone is you become a center, and Steve Young is your quarterback, and Steve Young he'll be grabbing your ass like ready.
Yeah, I probably would never want to play center for that reason.
Yeah, no to the center. Now, if it's a female that's a quarterback, I got no problem with that though. But you're not fast enough for safety. Actually, I was in track and cross country spike, but that was me younger. If you saw me younger, I was a lot slender. I actually ran pretty fast. I had good stamina and all that. I wasn't the fastest guy, but I was fast enough. Actually, safeties are guys who don't run super fast. They have good vision. They have to keep an eye on things and stuff. But a corner though, you got to have demon speed.
The reason I probably like playing safety is because when I played Aussie rules, I like to tackle people, hit people. So that's why I like to play strong. And not to mention, I used to do the 100 and 200. I never timed myself in a 40 or anything, but I was decently quick. So
yeah,
I probably run at least a 4.4 or something around there, maybe less.
You're Bill Pickle. Stop playing. All right. Yeah, Spike's just busting my balls. Now I was in track. I did. I did win a. This was not even high school. This was 8th grade year. I was the only one in my school to win a blue ribbon. Everybody didn't win nothing. They were either got the 3rd place ribbon. I won the blue ribbon, the only one, and I was in some private country school. It was a charter school, and it was in the 1500 meter dash, which is similar to a 1600, but in that time they called it 1500 meter, and I was the one who won. I was about to lap another guy, and he started to see me coming back, and then he was like, didn't want to get embarrassed because he was walking or something, and I was like, and he had to run the lap 4 times. I ran it 4 times and I won. But yeah, Big Pickle from the 86 roster back up to Howie Long. Yeah. Like I said, though, I'm not slender. I was like 5'8", 150 pounds. I'm 5'9", close to 5'10". I'm about 215 pounds. So, but I'm older. I'm 45 years old. So, not a young guy.
Yeah, so really going back on topic, though, did you have anything to say on Pete's philosophy?
Pete's philosophy? Yeah, Pete's idea, he's got a good communication, good morale. He brings guys together and all that, and he doesn't give a shit if he takes his shirt off. He'll do it right in front of everybody, and he brings out the best out of the players. That's one thing I like about Pete Carroll. But like I said, though, he can have all that, but if he could do that, bring that energy, yeah, this team could be a good team. But for now, we cannot just say we're going to be a great team this year. We got to start out small, put our standards a little low, and then we can slowly go up. That's where we need to go. I think Pete Carroll right now would be the best coach because there weren't a lot of good coaching candidates that were better than him. The only guy that I might say was better than him, but wasn't going to the Raiders, would be John Gruden. But we'll have to see. But I don't think Gruden would have wanted to be here because, he doesn't like to work with younger quarterbacks. He likes quarterbacks that are ready to play for him.
Yeah. Did you have any other topics, Dustin?
Do I?
Did you have any other topics?
Not really.
I think I've done talking on Rudy has on the Pete's philosophy.
Wide receiver position, if you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. I mean, that's going to be interesting topic.
Yeah.
The amount that we have on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you wanted to talk about Jacoby Myers and the receiver position.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, he's exactly kind of like Devontae Adams. You know, he plays similar route running ability and everything, and you know, he looked like he was more of a number 2 receiver when he played for the Patriots. He was just a slot receiver, you know. But right now he's been promoted a few times. You know, originally he became number 2, then Devontae was gone and he became number 1 and actually did a pretty good job. But I think he's truly a number 2 receiver. That's what I strongly believe, even though he had a good year last year. But I would say right now the guy that's really the number 1 wide receiver, who's not even a receiver, is Brock Bowers. And you know, but to me though, yes, we brought in Beck and we got that 6'5" receiver's name. I had his name in my head. I have to. You know, he's got great speed and needs to improve on his. I was hearing he needs to improve on his route ability. But you know, he's got like I said, Pete Carroll likes tall receivers. He doesn't like too much short receivers. But you know, like I said, a guy like a Trey Tucker could be demoted. I don't think he would get kicked off the team, but I think he could be be used as primarily a kick returner. You know, I'm trying to think of that receiver. I missed him on my when I was doing a draft, but you know, I like tall receivers. They can, especially when they're 6'5", facing most of the average corner is usually about 6 feet tall. But you know, you got a corner on Denver that's 6'2", you know, PS2, and you know, I really always thought that PS2 was overrated because Devontae always burned him out. When we had Derek Carr, even Aidan, he burned him out, but Garbage Minshew made PS2 look like a superstar. He threw that interception to him. Actually, I wouldn't even call it an interception. I'd call it a Neil Donald pass. Like Neil Donald threw a pass to Larry Brown in that Super Bowl. It was like the same ideology. I mean, he well overthrew it. I mean, I've never seen any quarterback since Neil Donald throw a ball like what Garbage Minshew threw. But I would say, like with the receivers right now, we'll have to see. To me, I want to see the preseason. That's why I really want to see the preseason very badly. But man, Garbage Minshew, man, he ruined it a lot for these guys. I think, like I said, Jacoby Myers, whether we sign him or give him a small extension, I wouldn't give him a big contract. He's not an elite wide receiver, but he is a starting receiver most definitely. I would say we need to give him a small extension, give him a 2-year extension, and see how the other receivers play. And if they play better than him, then yeah, he can go, or you know, or I'd trade him. You know, I'd rather not trade him because I think he's a good receiver. But you know, the one receiver, this is where I do not want Jacoby Myers going to, and that's going back to the Patriots. I'd rather him go to a team that's not in our division and not with the Patriots. You know. So, you know, take him to a super sorry team like take him to the Giants or the Jets or something. But, you know, anywhere except for our division and the Patriots.
Just adding to what you said, I've been saying for a while now that while Jacoby isn't going to be like a top 5 kind of receiver, I still see him as a viable wide receiver one. Based on just
he is
just
right now.
Now
he is,
yeah. It depends on who else is on your roster. But the other thing I'd look at is if you go back to Jacoby and Adams under Josh McDaniels, Jacoby actually outplayed Devontae that year because it was familiar. Not just that. Hang on. It was the first time in his career where he's been on equal footing with a guy like Devontae as far as like coach, quarterback, and all that, right? If you look at when Jacoby came into the league, Tom Brady was his quarterback in his rookie season, but he barely played. Then Tom left, went to Tampa Bay. He had Mac Jones. Then he had Jimmy Garoppolo and all the other quarterbacks we've had. So he hasn't really had a solid quarterback, so to speak. I mean, the closest solid quarterback he's had is Aidan O'Connell, in my opinion. And that says a lot when you got Like, because it matters what the quarterback has. I mean, you wouldn't have Devontae Adams wouldn't be Devontae Adams without fucking Aaron Rodgers. Let's be factual about it.
Yeah.
So
Well, he did.
to me,
we are not getting Tyreek Hill, bro. So
that's not happening.
No, I don't want him. He's a diva.
Yeah, we're not trading no third. If you're saying like the third overall pick or third round pick, we're not giving them no third round pick for him. And they would want more in that in return anyway. So
yeah.
And why would we go give up Tucker's production for Tyreek Hill's production? I would just roll with the players.
Tyreek Hill's getting over the hill, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, already dealing with a divorce with his wife and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so just going back to what I was saying, the point that I was making, I think, is what the 23 season is. Devontae Adams had 75 more targets than Jacoby and only had 200 more yards and the same number of touchdowns as Jacoby on 75 more targets.
I mean, he kind of does. I mean, him and
so if the point I'm making is if you give Jacoby decent quarterback play and a decent offensive scheme, that guy's I think he can be a legit wide receiver one option. I mean, especially if you have a really good tight end and other players and like decent quarterback play around him, he can be a legit wide receiver one option.
Yeah. I know that when Derek Carr played under the air raid system under Josh McDowns, he didn't have Jacoby Myers. He brought the best out of Devontae. And then when they brought Jimmy Garoppolo threw a ball to Jacoby Myers, and he was double teamed, and Devontae was wide open. And that was in that Detroit game where he was cussing out, slamming his helmet to the ground. And, really.
The other thing that I would add to that is Jacoby, despite terrible quarterback play at times, barely ever drops a fucking football. Like, even when it's off target, like, he'll get down low for it. He'll fucking tiptoe on the fucking line for it. He'll fucking slide and catch it. Like, he can catch almost any ball, even when it is off target.
Yeah, well, yeah, Devontae really, I think it's more of a demeanor thing, for him when you're frustrated because of a quarterback, it gets to you and it will mess up your play, even as a great wide receiver like Devontae. Yeah, salute Chewy. I think that he was frustrated and, he was just that Jimmy, now that Devontae's with the Rams and Jimmy is with the Rams too. So he better hope that Matthew Stafford doesn't get hurt and he put Jimmy Garoppolo in because he flat out hates Jimmy Garoppolo. Flat out does,
He'll be saying, I need to get the fuck out of here. I've never been hit this bad in my life.
Yeah.
Trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, hospital ball, Jimmy.
Yeah. They're saying, get me out of here or I'm going to sign with Taco Bell full time.
Oh, shit. He already has it in his house. What more can he do?
Yeah. Yeah, you eat too much Taco Bell, you'd be getting diabetes.
Or the runs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Taco Bell's not real Mexican food, just for everybody to know.
That reminds me of a reel that I watched on IG where they had they were showing like a busted pipe or something when they were doing like some construction work, and then they said Taco Bell. It looks like y'all like from Taco Bell.
Dude, I've always said if you're constipated, just go to Taco Bell. You'll
in
a few minutes.
Oh, well, there's something else if you're constipated. Just do some Red Code Mountain Dew and do a zebra cape, and he'll shit your ass off right there. But yeah.
You guys have anything else you want to talk about, player-wise? Anything?
Yeah, I can't think of anything now.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of stuff today already.
Oh, yeah. If you can see the Raiders trying to sign any player in the NFL to fix a spot on our team, who would you guys want it to be?
Talking about just signing or trades as well.
Just trade for a player.
Jalen Ramsey. Like I just feel like or any corner, any veteran cornerback. I just feel like our youngest room or our most inexperienced room has got to be the corner or secondary. Because I mean, I'm happy with Sheen at safety. That's fine. It's got to be the cornerback room. Because I mean, Jacorian, I'm got high hopes for Jacorian and stuff, and some of the other younger guys. But our most veteran player on that team is Darnay Holmes, and I'm not really sold on him. So, like Stokes is kind of a veteran, so yeah, I guess you can count Stokes as a veteran, and he might be good. But if we can get like a true lockdown corner, I think that can change our whole back end and just make us even more better.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, because we got I know we got that Porter, but some were saying he could be the next Richard Sherman. But like I said, he's developmental. He's going to take some time to be possibly a starter. We'll have to see. And remember, he was a wide receiver turned corner, and that transition can mess. That's why his draft stock dropped, because he switched from wide receiver to corner, and he's trying to. That can mess you up, but we'll have to see. Maybe Porter will develop even more into a corner that he was doing in college. But that's why his draft stock was pretty. Why it dropped. It wasn't very high. I know there was that Travis Hunter, because he played both positions like crazy, and I was kind of surprised. I knew he was going to get taken early, but but man, that was crazy how he got taken early. Because I would not take a corner / wide receiver in a Heisman Trophy in that first round. But the draft at that time, I think it was just higher on running backs mostly. Even that there are a lot of great running backs in the second round, and there was, I guess, 2 first-round running backs taken, which hadn't been done in a long time. But, man, the quarterback situation I got right. There was only 2 quarterbacks taken in the first round. It was kind of crazy. The Giants, they actually were smart. They traded up and got Jackson Dart, and I was surprised. The Pittsburgh Steelers did take him. I think the Steelers, they're rebuild mode. They're not. They are not. I don't know. I'm not going to promise anything. Say that the Jackson Dart would take the Steelers to the playoffs, but it'd be a weapon that they really needed. I mean, they get a developmental quarterback, and they don't develop quarterbacks. They don't. And
if we would have traded back up to the fucking 24 spot and took Dart, we'd have been killing it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Dart would be better than any quarterback on our team.
I've seen his arm and all that, but he is
savage.
definitely the second quarterback taken. And you were right; he was going to be the second quarterback. And while Shadur Sanders, his stock was going low, they were thinking he was going to get drafted by the Giants or the Cleveland Browns. And
I told you guys,
well, he did get drafted by Cleveland Browns, but not in.
Dart would be the second guy off that board when it came to quarterbacks.
Yeah, you were right about that. The only thing I was right about was I said 2 quarterbacks were going to take it. I was right about that. But Shadur could have, if he had just shut up Senior Bowl, try to go in the Senior Bowl, sell himself out, go to the combine, he would have had a better chance. But because he had to be like I don't have to prove anything because I've already proven myself. That attitude, that's the reason why he dropped to the 5th. I thought he would go second round. I did not see him going all the way to 5th though. That shocked me more than just as it shocked everyone else, because everybody thought Shadur was going to the first round, and of course, but I was thinking second round though. But yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I think Shadur Sanders. I think he's going to be fighting for a third string job with the Browns, and he could or if he doesn't win that third spot, he'll get waived off, and someone might pick him up.
What's crazy is they have Flacco and Shador taking second and third team reps, while Pickens and Gabriel Dillon are taking first team reps.
Yeah, Pickens, I think he just wasn't given a great opportunity with the Steelers. They don't develop quarterbacks, and he was like a late first round pick, and he could have probably been dropped to the second round. I think he could have been under a different system if it was like a Big Ben Roethlisberger, like a true mid range quarterback would have done better for the Steelers, but they were not at mid range, and they got a late first round pick quarterback. And I think he had potential. Just the coaches, their staff had no patience for him. I mean, it takes time. Quarterbacks aren't going to play great, especially late first round pick quarterbacks. The Steelers weren't patient, and then they got Russell, and then Justin Fields, and and Steelers, they got a great defense, a pretty good running game. Even without Najee Harris, they still have a pretty good running game. But when you have no quarterback, none of that matters. And I'm looking at the Steelers. They could be tanking it this year.
I mean, if the fucking Bucks can win a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson, I'm thinking we can do it with some people.
Yeah, but that was a different era, though. And yeah, Brad Johnson was a super mediocre. I mean, even Trent Dilfer, who was mediocre with the Ravens, and Ravens had elite defense, good running game, did not have a great passing game. Their best receiver was Shannon Sharp. I mean, that doesn't go. It doesn't float here. It's all passing now. Everybody's throwing the ball in the shotgun formations. Back in the early 2000s, there wasn't all that shotgun formation. It's like this is a new era. It's completely different. But yeah, I think right now though, if we're going to be a better team, we do need to have a running game, but we need to pass the ball. We got to improve that running game where we're not 32nd. We could go if we're in the 20s, it's an improvement.
We're going to start seeing 5'8", 140-pound quarterbacks.
And man, if I played in the NFL, I would be a fucking midget for a quarterback. Just saying.
You said a midget?
I need a step ladder. I need a step ladder. Say hi, I can jump on the step ladder and throw the ball.
How tall are you?
I'm only 5'9". With my shoes, I'm 5'10". But
nice.
Just get a step ladder shotgun ready, set, you jump on it, and then hike and catch the ball goes up. That'd be fun. But I'm 45 years old, so that ain't gonna work with me. Yeah, that's why I like quarterbacks taller. Look at Kyler Murray; he's like 5'10" or something, and look at him. I think he could be on his way out. Just because he's athletic and all that, but he has a strong arm for a little guy. But man, still short. I think if I was around him, his eye level would be lower than mine because he's got massive forehead. So that forehead gives him a slight advantage over me. But I know people call him Mighty Mouse, or I've seen some memes where they put him like he's stepping on a step ladder or something. But, yeah.
Did you have any more topics, Dustin?
Nope.
All right, I think I'm good then for today, Ben. I'll start working and get everyone info, so next time I can post it a bit quicker.
Yeah, we'll come back on Tuesday, most likely, but I'm about to go to bed.
Yeah, good, Ben. Yeah, I gotta go take care of some stuff too. Is it finally stopped raining?
Oh yeah, I appreciate all you guys popping up. Salute to everybody, and appreciate everybody commenting in the chat. If you guys want to join our Discord, Instagram, any of those links are in the chat, obviously. And I hope you guys like the live. We'll be back on Tuesday, talk some more.
No, cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Right. Well, good night, everyone.
Later,
guys. Bye.
Peace out, everybody.
Later, everyone.